Welcome to the PLRB Search Training Class. My name is David Fox, and I'm one of the PLRB coverage attorneys. Today we are going to be looking at answering coverage questions dealing with first-party non-auto issues. This class is designed for member insurers only, and today we're only going to be covering the database. We're going to be going through a number of hypotheticals today and using the website to answer questions. Our first hypothetical: the insured's daughter and her fiancé, both of whom are 27 years old, were living with the insured while they were looking for their own apartment. The fiancé's wallet was stolen from his locker at his gym. Is there coverage under the insured's homeowner's policy for the fiancé's property which was stolen off premises? So we're going to proceed by going to the PLRB website at plrb.org. On the home page, we're going to go to the sign in on the upper right hand corner and sign in using your email and password. Your email corresponds to your work email, your company work email. It does not take your Gmail or your Hotmail emails, so you're going to go ahead and sign in with that. After you have signed in, we're going to go to the top of the page where it says Coverage Research and go down to PLRB Search and click on that. We see a number of tabs across the top of the page: Document Search, Subject Text and State Search, Case Law Search, etc. We're going to use the Subject Text and State Search and fill in various boxes. So we have a question here whether this fiancé would fall under an insured in the policy. So we're going to, in the subject field, put the word insured. The subject field, we typically want to limit it to policy terms. Insured is a policy term. In the text field, we're going to go ahead and put fiancé in here. Sometimes you might put the word boyfriend, girlfriend, depending upon what's going on. We're going to go ahead and leave the state field blank and all the other boxes blank, and we're going to hit submit. One thing that I wanted to show you today is you don't have to put in a whole lot of terms, and you don't have to fill in every box when you're doing a search. We see a number of documents come up over here on the left hand side of the screen, and under the first one it says homeowner's annotation insured HO5. We're going to go ahead and click on that. Just a word about that HO5, that's not a policy number. So your insured might have a homeowner's HO3 policy, and you see this HO5 there. Don't be worried about that. That's PLRB's chapter or key number. You see a table of contents. If you page down a little bit, right underneath the table of contents, you'll see a box that this has policy wording. This is ISO's policy wording and the most recent ISO policy wording for this homeowner's policy. So you want to take a minute and sort of look at that and compare that to your policy. Your policy wording might be a little bit different. It might be exactly the same. That's one of the things that you want to make sure that you key in on, of how does your policy wording differ from ISO policy wording, because your answer might differ. So we're going to go back up and look at the table of contents and look to see that anything that might jump out at us, and we see under relative of or in the care of the insured, there's actually a heading called fiancé. So we're going to click on that. And under that, we see a link out to what we call a coverage question. See insured's fiancé, likely not considered a relative. And we're going to click on that and open up that coverage question. And you can see here our policy terms happen to be highlighted. If we wanted, you can see at the bottom of the screen, it mentions next match, previous match. You could click on those to go through the policy, or you can just page down. And you can see here in this coverage question that property of somebody who is not a named insured is not likely going to be covered off premises. We're going to go back and see here what we did is we went to the PLRB website, we signed in with our password, we went to coverage research, and we chose our search method. We saw here that we first went to what we called a policy annotation. PLRB has written annotations on the various policies you can see here, the homeowner's policy, the business owner's policy, the commercial property policies like the CP0010, the CP1030, business income policies, and various endorsements. And then other documents. We went to a coverage question. There are also other documents such as state-by-state documents, Q&As, FAQs, and case law. Now we're going to go to the second hypothetical. Here, a New Jersey's insured's home suffered damage when a water pipe broke beneath the lawn. This caused the earth to settle and sink near the foundation, leading to a buckling of the foundation wall. Your question is, does the earth movement exclusion apply to this loss under the insured's policy, the H03, the 0511 form? So we're going to go back to the home page. We're going to go to Coverage Research, go down to PLRB Search, click on that. We're going to get our boxes to fill in, and here the policy term that we're interested in is earth movement. So we're going to put that in the subject field. We're going to leave the text field blank, and here we're going to go ahead and put New Jersey in the state field. You can use the two-letter postal abbreviation, or you can spell out the state name. And then we're going to go ahead and hit Submit. On the left-hand side, we can see the various documents that we found that we were talking about just a moment ago. If we click on Homeowners Annotations, we'll see the annotation dealing with earth movement. We could click on that, and we could look through that. Also, on the various documents found, we see a state-by-state. So I'm going to click on that. And then we're going to go down to New Jersey earth movement. And here we see one of our state-by-state documents dealing with earth movement. We can see here in the discussion section, the first case that's there talks about earth movement is limited to natural and catastrophic events. But this is under the older language. New policy language has changed things. So we're going to look down a little bit further, and we can see a case in New Jersey where earth movement was not limited to natural and catastrophic events when it was the newer language. So we see a case there, and we're going to go ahead and click on the hyperlink out to that new case. This is one of the other types of documents, so we have case law. You can see here that we start out with an in brief. This is basically what how the court ruled on this particular insurance issue. Then we see a section on the facts of this particular case. We'll page down a little bit. We'll see policy language. We're always interested in policy language to see if there's anything a little bit different here. Then we page down. Typically it's what the lower court held, and then we get to what the current court held. Then we see a section on comments. So everything above comments is solely what the court said or did. The comment section is where the author made some comments on the particular subject or case. And we see here that there's that link out to the annotation, that earth movement, that HO80 annotation dealing with earth movement. So we could get back to that if we wanted to. Now we're going to go back to that search page that we were on. And we can see the tabs across the top, and we're just going to look at one of the other tabs for a moment. We're going to click on the Table of Contents tab. And then we're going to go over to the left-hand side and look at the state-by-state and click on that. First, you can see the number of topics that we've written state-by-states on. This is where we're aware of probably 10 or more states that have a ruling on a particular topic. So we've gathered this information together and written what we've called a state-by-state. We're going to page down to earth movement, and we can open that up. And then we're going to page down to New Jersey because this particular loss occurred in New Jersey, and click on that. And you can see that we got to the same document. So there's a number of different ways you can search on the PLRB website. Just a word here, when we have this document open, you can see the subject field at the top of this document, and you can see the terms that are there. So when you do that subject, text, and state search, and you put something in the subject field, it's only searching that area of the document. So if the author didn't put in the term that you were thinking about, the document's not going to come up. So if you put something in and you don't get a result, try a couple of different terms. Then the text field searches anywhere in the document, so you can be a little bit more liberal in what you put into the text field. Now we're going to go on to hypothetical number 3. Here again, we're using the same hypothetical that we just used. A New Jersey insured's home suffered damage when a water pipe broke beneath the lawn. This caused the earth to settle and sink near the foundation, leading to a buckling of the foundation wall. Does the earth movement exclusion apply to this loss under the HO3-05-11 form? So we go back to the website, we go to coverage research, but this time in the pull-down menu we see PLRB search powered by Google, and we're going to click on that this time. What comes up is a search box, and in this box we're going to go ahead and type earth movement and then NJ for New Jersey. And we're going to hit search. And you can see that there's a number of documents that come up here. And we can see the first one is New Jersey earth movement. We'll go ahead and click on that. And you can see that we got to that same state-by-state annotation. Now let's go back a minute to the results that we had. And you can see over on the left-hand side the different types of documents again that are there. So we could have limited it by clicking on state by state. We could have clicked on annotations. And so you can narrow it down that way. So now going back to the home page and looking at coverage research and the pull-down menu that comes there, you can see that there's two main ways to do coverage research on the PLRB website. There's PLRB search and PLRB search powered by Google. I find that most people find one way that they like and use that throughout their searching. I happen to like the PLRB search. I'm used to filling in the various boxes. Some people are a little more familiar with using Google search and like that better, so they might tend towards that. And go on to the fourth hypothetical. The insurer is requesting to take an examination under oath of the mortgagee. Must the mortgagee submit to the examination under oath? So, we're going to go back to the website. We're going to go to coverage research. And this time we're going to use the Google search again. So PLRB search powered by Google. And in the Google search box we're going to type examination oath mortgagee. We're going to hit search, and we're going to go ahead and click on the first item, and we see this is a coverage question similar to the one there, examination under oath, must a mortgagee submit? And let's just go back for a minute and click on the second item, and we see another question, a coverage question like that. And it appears likely that a mortgagee cannot be compelled to submit to an examination under oath. We'll go back to the results that we had, and you can see here that there are a number of other items here. There are some cases that come up. You might take a look at those. We'll go ahead and click on the third item. Of course, if your insured is in a particular state where there is case law that we're aware of, you're going to want to have that case law. But you're also interested, even if there's not case law in your particular jurisdiction, and on the first party property side, there's not as much case law as on the liability or auto side. So you might want to be aware of the case law in other states too. So now you've been doing some searching on the website, and you can't find the information that you want, and you want to ask one of the PLRB coverage attorneys to help. So one way to do that is We'll go back to the website, and under coverage research, we see ask a coverage question, and we'll go ahead and click on that. First, what comes up is the idea that there's two sides of the office, the first party property side, the liability side. The questions today have been first party property, so we're going to go ahead and click on that. First, what comes up is your contact information. We ask that you verify that because sometimes we might have a question to ask you. We might want to call you. So we click on yes, this is your profile. And then what comes up are some dialog boxes. If you're dealing with an ISO policy, you can open that up and choose a policy form. If your company has submitted some policies, you could click on the link to that and open that up, and your company's policies will come up. If it's not there, you can enter your policy name, similar to an Elite 2 policy. Then we're always interested first in the state of loss where this occurred, because we're going to look for case law from your state first, so we always want that information. Then there's a box for the specific policy language at issue. You're having an issue with whether something's covered or not, dealing with language under your policy. So please call our attention to that policy language that you're having some trouble with. Then we're interested in the relevant facts, similar to what we did with the hypotheticals today. And then finally the question that you have dealing with this. When you hit submit, you'll get the information as to which attorney the question has been assigned, and we will say that we will get back to you within 5 business days. You can see here we also list our phone number if you need to call someone. Now just a word about tips and tutorials. We're going to go back to the website. We're going to go back to the home page, and under coverage research we're going to click on PLRB search. And you can see the first screen that opens up. There's the webinar, this webinar that we've recorded today, so you can share that with other people. And then there's a section that says Tips for PLRB website. We'll go ahead and click on that. And these are some tips for you for searching for the types of documents that are there, things like that. It talks about the various documents, the various ways of searching, the various state-by-state documents we have, etc. That concludes today's webinar. Thank you for your participation.